started this documentary, we didn't know what lay ahead. We set out to learn more about LGBTI people's lives and to document the struggle against the anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda.
I am donating the computer to Red Foundation in Mbarara to support the resource center.
For us, we've been working mainly as a movement. And I think what has made us strong the most are the problems. So from 2007, when I came into the leadership of SMAG, there's been very many challenges. First, we had a media campaign that lasted 45 days that was called Let Us Live in Peace. And after the media campaign, there was a lot of backlash that we did not anticipate. And because we have got these problems here, we had to find solutions for the problems. And in the process of finding solutions, that was making SMAG stronger.
This is a period when the movement grew at a very fast pace. It was a time of unity. We were fighting for recognition. Let us live in peace and stop the harassment. It was a nice moment until our freedoms started being crushed, step by step.
In 2009, following intense work by Pentecostal movement here in Uganda, in particular the Family Life Network, a bill was introduced in Parliament which essentially sought to make criminal same-sex relations and same-sex intercourse, which sought to make criminal any activity purported to call promotion of same-sex relations.
When it was first introduced, it included a death penalty for aggravated homosexuality and also life in prison for any work, human rights work on LGBT rights.
Subsequently, when the law was introduced in Parliament, the death penalty was removed, and an amended bill now provided for life imprisonment for any person convicted of same-sex relations. When that law was being introduced in Parliament, the gallery was full of Pentecostal pastors, Pastor Martin Semper, Pastor Langa of the Family Life Network. They were in the gallery together with an unnamed child who they claim was a victim of sodomy.
We know the origins of this bill were promoted by Christian evangelicals. There's a case now going on in the United States against a gentleman called Scott Lively, who came to Uganda and basically was fanning the flames of this anti-homosexuality movement.
When Scott Lively, Don Shimira, and some other person came, three of them came from the United States in 2009, I was there at the conference, and their message was clear, more especially Scott Lively, that homosexuals are responsible for the Nazi Holocaust, and there's an homosexual agenda about taking over this world, making everyone gay, recruiting children, and all such things. Those are the very same messages that were repeated by Bahati and people who proposed the law. And of course, just after Scott Lively's meeting with the members of Parliament, Honorable Sababu Turo, the then Minister of Ethics and Integrity, announced a new tougher law to fight homosexuality.
And in this conference in 2009, they called it the homosexual agenda. That homosexuals want to take over the world and destroy the family. They would come into some neighborhoods, pin posters on the street, saying that the neighborhood should report homosexuals, and if they know any homosexuals, they should get rid of them.
The debate around the law was a very skewed debate, a debate that provided a narrative that sought to demonize persons of different sexual orientations, to call them sodomites, to call them child molesters, to call them people who are involved in pedophilia. So there's a massive onslaught towards persons of different sexual orientation, an attempt to paint them as evil, an attempt to paint them as an African, being motivated by Western ideologies. That debate then informed the discussion around the law.
When the bill was introduced in 2009, everything changed. You know, from an organization that was on our work plan, we had campaigns like lobbying the police. We had campaigns like working on HIV/AIDS campaign. We had campaigns to lobby, parents with gay children, support our groups on our network. All that was stalled because now we had to devote our energies on stopping the legislation.
In the face of this threat, we continued to organize. In 2012, Icebreakers Uganda opened the first clinic solely run by LGBTI people in Uganda.
Okay, what's up? And 1, 2, 3.
We thought if we can start up something small, where people can walk in, get tested, get treatment, even if it's on a small scale, at least it's a start, because there are some very treatable STIs, for example, that go out of hand because people are hiding. Maybe someone has a problem with the anus and they can't go to hospital. They can come in here and instead of letting the situation run out of hand, but at least we would have relieved people from having to go through all that stress of going somewhere where they're going to be eyed and ask very uncomfortable questions. So we thought this can be a very small thing, but a good start.
This program is all-inclusive, non-discriminatory, which group he belongs to or she belongs to, have to feel that they are at home and they come.
The bill was introduced, and fronting the issue of promotion was recruitment. That we were recruiting young children into homosexuality as young as kindergarten. Everyone started getting upset, and so things started to escalate from that time.
And we have a very big fight. That SMAG, as small as we are fighting against this very big Christian movement in Uganda. And it has been very difficult for us to undo the damage because they said we are recruiting young children and then promoting homosexuality.
The promotion, I don't know exactly what it entails, because I'm not promoting homosexuality. I don't even know how to answer that. Yeah. I'm simply saying, look, I'm here. Include me in the national HIV/AIDS policies, in the national health policies, in programs of the government. Stop expelling us from schools. Stop beating us. So I don't know how I'm promoting that. I'm actually promoting love and respect and dignity, not homosexuality.
It is all bogus. It's just that the anti-gay people have seen it as an avenue through which to exploit people for their personal gains. No Ugandan here can recruit another one into homosexuality. No Ugandan can recruit a gay man into heterosexuality. It's just like saying you have short fingers. I want to recruit you into the group of people who have long fingers. How?
Yeah, true. How could you change?
How?
True.
Yeah, such is homosexuality, such is sexual orientation.
And the media will not talk about this law that will criminalize ABC. But the media will say the law that is going to kill homosexuals, the law that is asking you to report homosexuals, the law that is... And people will think that actually this is already law. And Ugandans have a tendency, if they know something is criminal, then they take the law into their hands. They don't wait for the police. Actually, they grab criminals from the police. They want to kill them.
Yes.
They want to. I've seen people who have been put in car tires and burnt to flames. And for me, that is the most scary part.
The Coalition of Human Rights and Constitutional Law was formed specifically to fight this law. Other people came on board.
When there was a rumor that there is a law that's going to be introduced, myself with my colleague, the late David Kato, we took an initiative with a statement that was drafted by SMAG, explaining that there is a law coming up, and went to some human rights organizations asking them to sign on that statement. And indeed, many did sign. So when the time for mobilizing came, we were able to identify some of the people who had committed supporting us.
When Bahati tabled the law in October 2009, we handful of people came together and we issued the first statement. So whoever signed into that first statement became members of the coalition. Later on, we went out to mobilize real support, to talk to organizations, ask them to join the coalition. Eventually, we built a coalition that was made up of 50 different organizations. LGBT organizations, sex work organizations, feminist organizations, women's rights organizations. In fact, those ones took the initial lead in the coalition. So all the organizing against the bill and around the bill was actually done through the coalition. And the coalition later on took on the mantle of managing response, both from within Uganda and also from outside Uganda.
Now, the idea behind the coalition was that, yes, the Anti-Homosexuality Act was focused against LGBTI people, but it also had implications beyond that community. And we were very concerned that those implications as well, undermined the observation of human rights. For example, freedoms of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech even, what people could talk about.
If this law is passed, it will not only affect SMAG, it will affect even other human rights organizations, because the government will not hesitate to withdraw a certificate of registration for any organization known to work on LGBT issues.
In August 2012, we celebrated the first Pride in Uganda.
Guys, we are officially opening and launching the first Pride Week and Gay Film Festival in Uganda.
Several legislations now emerging that seeks to constrict the space, not just for LGBTI, but for everybody else who is involved in activism. The NGO amendment bill, again, which has been leaked, and the NGO laws in practice now seeks to limit civil liberties. The Public Order Management Act seeks to limit people who want to challenge government. So there's an emergence of legislation that seeks to eat away, to eat at the edges of civil liberties across the board.
It's much more than homosexuality. It's about political opponents, about society, about space being closed. These days, meetings are monitored. In every meeting in any hotel is monitored by government agents. They come asking for agendas, and it has happened to us before. They have asked us for the agenda of our meeting. So everything that is going on is being spied upon, is being monitored. Paranoia at its highest. So if you look at the most recent laws, the HIV prevention and control bill, they're trying to criminalize HIV prevention, HIV, intentional HIV spread. No one wants it, and no one says it should be criminalized. But if you criminalize it, what's the effect? The effect is certainly stigma.
I think for me, the defining moment for civil liberties, not just in Uganda but around the world, is 9/11. The unholy alliance between states, allegedly to fight terrorism, has provided, in my view, a fatal excuse for the limitation of fundamental rights and freedoms. So all around the world, states are now coming together, quote unquote, to fight terrorism. And in doing so, have found an excuse for limitation of fundamental liberties and rights. In Uganda, that has been expressed in the enactment of now the Anti-Money Laundering Act, in the enactment of the Public Order Management Act, in the enactment of the phone tapping law, the Interception of Communications Act. So there is an onslaught on civil liberties across the world. Secondly, there are fears of regime change amongst especially dictators who now view the civil society as a very powerful force and therefore are gunning against CSOs to try and constrict them. So we need to look at this debate within the broader human rights discourse, because you might win the case today for gay rights in Uganda, but if you lose the debate about the constricting civic space, that victory will still be a hollow victory.
In 2012, police raided and stopped a Freedom and Roam Uganda training workshop. So we went to court to defend our rights.
The case is a freedom of association and assembly case against the Ministry of Ethics and Integrity. So it's 4 activists, Kasha Jacqueline from Faru, Frank Mugisha from SMAG, myself, and Jeff from the coalition, versing the Attorney General and the Minister of Ethics and Integrity. The minister came and said we looked gay and that we were promoting and teaching people how to recruit people into homosexuality. There was nothing illegal. We are totally within the law, expressing our right to assembly and association, also our right to education.
You can see the government today is beginning to target human rights organizations in the name of supporters of LGBTI people, gay and lesbian and transgender people. And I think it is an attack on Ugandans, it's an attack on human rights defenders, it's an attack on civil society. So it does not impact only LGBT people or LGBT organizations, but it impacts all those who are defending the voiceless, because the voiceless become voiceless, because they become unrecognized. For me, this is a milestone. We win or not, at least we know that all the people you see around the court know about human rights. Yes. All the people around the court believe that human rights were violated. And all the people at court believe that justice will be served.
Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum and the Society Coalition on Human Rights and Constitutional Law carried out a study which was released in 2013.
That's the bill at the back of this report. So those of you who want to look at the bill can have a look at the bill at the back.